Hello and welcome back to the Wisdom for Humanity podcast series. My name is James Malins, I am the Wisdom Guide, and in this series we're going to be helping you to get from your present state to your desired state through wisdom, knowledge and real life experiences. So I'm absolutely blessed to be met with the beautiful Flavia Powell today. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Beautiful sunny day.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Tons of energy, so it's really good. How about you?
I'm brilliant. Beautiful sunny day here as well, and I can't wait to get stuck in to the stuff that we're going to be chatting about today. So, in this podcast episode, we're going to be talking about happiness. Now, Flavia is a beautiful woman. She does a lot of great stuff for people all around the world. Flavia is a happiness coach, and she's also an experienced therapist and author. Now, we're going to be getting into that a little bit later on, so I'm very, very excited to talk to you about that and find out what it is that you do all around that. So, to begin with, what I'd like to talk about is the happiness engineering that you've created and that you're sharing with the world. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, the happiness engineering. This always really makes me happy, the name itself. So I founded the happiness engineering back in 2017 when I had spent so many years overcoming challenges and studying and investing in my personal development. And I really wanted a way to put everything that I knew and the way I overcame those challenges and the way I live my life and maintaining happiness into something. So I hopped out of bed on a Saturday morning and I got this big piece of paper and some pens and I started drawing circles and it kind of came out in the shape of a flower. And so I started building an acronym, the SMILE model. And I've got it here and it looks like this. Now the yellow, I love yellow because it's vibrant. Absolutely love it, and I love smiley faces. So what this is a roadmap for a happy life. But it's more than a roadmap, it's a lifestyle. And I am a strong believer in the fact that we engineer happiness in our lives. We're not just happy or unhappy. So if you're a happy person, fantastic. You know, you're lucky to have higher serotonin levels, have been brought up in a positive environment. But the people who haven't been so lucky and whose serotonin levels are lower, they can also do something about it. You know, there are strategies they can implement so that they can bring happiness into their lives. So it's about the happiness engineering. It's about weaving happiness into all areas of our lives, into our businesses, to feel that inner peace and inner contentment. So it really makes me smile. It makes me smile. That's the whole point of it, the SMILE model. And it's split into different categories: see, maintain, initiate, learn and enjoy, because really happiness starts with ourselves. Right? It's about really getting to know ourselves. So that's the first step on the SMILE model, is getting to know ourselves and also defining what happiness means to us as individuals, because it is very subjective. So happiness for me would be completely different to happiness for you. For some people, happiness means having a regular income, having lots of family holidays, having a posh house. For me, happiness is having a peaceful home environment and good health and happy children. So it's defining that, because until you know what happiness is, how are you going to achieve it? It would be like booking a holiday and not knowing where you want to go, or trying to book a holiday without a destination. You're not going to get there until you know what it is. And then it's maintaining that happiness and maintaining good relationships, maintaining integrity as you're going through your life. Initiating, of course. It all starts with initiating action, right? You make a decision about what you're going to do, you initiate. And initiating this beautiful journey, because happiness is about enjoying the steps you're taking whilst working towards your success. It's not a destination. No. It's not something that so many people say. It's not something that once you get there, that's it, you'll be happy. Well, what happens once you get there? They wish their life away and they go, when I have that, I'll be happy. And I hear a lot of that with my clients. They're wishing their life away because, okay, so say you're working for 10 years towards your goal and towards your happiness, and you get there and it's not really what you thought it was going to be. You want to achieve something else. What are you going to do? Move the goalpost and postpone your happiness even more? There's the learn the learn section, which is learning to let go. And here's the most important thing is learning to elevate your sense of self-worth, learning to take risks and stepping out of your comfort zone. But when it comes to taking risks, I don't just mean mindful risks. I mean mindless risks. I don't mean, jump off the top of a building and hope you grow unicorn wings.
Yeah.
It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and continuing to learn. I strongly believe that we learn every single day. And when I first trained, I wanted to know everything there and then. And I put myself under a lot of pressure and compromised my own happiness and inner peace to gain more and more information, when actually there's no better information than life experience. And learning is a process. Just picking up a book and reading one page a day will be, a book of your interest, or doing something like that per day and just learning little bits rather than put that pressure, and enjoying the beautiful things in life. And when it comes to building our happiness, something as little as enjoying tranquility can be very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Something as little as enjoying the right now, the little things in life. Like, for example, here's what I found out recently, is that every blade of grass is a different shade of green. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
There you go, see?
There you go.
So enjoying the little things in life, and it takes constant implementing. Now, I go through this model, I live it and breathe it every single day. And when I don't, I fall off balance. When I don't, and the idea, when I created it, the idea is that people can look at it and go, okay, so I know who I am, I know what my purpose and direction is, I'm maintaining balance and integrity, I'm taking action, I'm learning to dream big, okay, I'm enjoying smiling, but there's something missing. And then they can pinpoint, here's what I need some tranquility, or here's what I need to elevate my sense of self-worth. So they're able to point where they're at, and then there are resources for them to go to and invest some time in themselves. And I want it to be easily accessible for everyone.
Yeah, I love that, and it's beautiful. And there's a few amazing points you made in there. Number one is the M, that maintaining. I think that a lot of people, like you said, they expect it to be a destination. They expect to go through life, and all of a sudden it pops up in front of them without really realizing that you create it. You create and you bring it into your life using the SMILE model, the tool that you've created. I think it's incredible. And by the way, for guys listening on the podcast, if you didn't see it, there will be a link in the show notes, so you'll be able to get your very own little copy or image of the SMILE model and be able to use that for yourself. So it's really important that we look at that maintaining, because it's a consistent, like you said, it's a consistent process. Because we can. I saw a quote the other day. You can spend an entire life climbing the wrong mountain. Like you get to the top of the mountain and you stand up looking down and you realise, well, this isn't the one I wanted to climb. And it's because you haven't listened to that inner self. You haven't looked to the inner self. And, if you've been, as you've got to this episode now, you'll notice through the podcast series, it's gone from the inner self, the power within, self-understanding. They were the first 3 episodes. Why? Yeah. Because just like you said, Flavia, they're super important. If we don't have that understanding and the knowledge of the self, then every decision and every move we're going to make is going to put us even deeper onto the wrong path. So it's important to take that time to understand yourself. And I love the L as well, the learn. Learning's so important. This whole life is just an oasis of information and knowledge and wisdom, just like what you're listening to right now. So it's important that we understand that constantly learning how to be happy, how to understand ourselves, how to make others happy. Once you've got yourself cemented and yourself happy and loving and caring, you can spread that to others.
Of course. Of course.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I think that SMILE model is absolutely fantastic. And what I wanted to quickly move on to now is the women of contribution. So obviously, we've got the happiness engineering straight into the SMILE model, and now you've got another beautiful project helping people around the world with the women of contribution. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
I would love to. I'm a very proud woman of contribution, and the co-author in this beautiful book, the Pay It Forward series, Notes to My Younger Self. And this is volume 2. So volume 1 was released in March 2018, and this was released in March 2019. And what this is 18 women from around the world writing a note to their younger selves. So they've written a note to their younger selves, and also writing about the golden nuggets they got from their experiences, the strategies they used to overcome those challenges. So it's not a sad book, it's a happy book that clearly talks people through strategies that other people have implemented to create the life they want, and have now gone to helping other people do the same. And so the mission of the Pay It Forward series, Notes to My Younger Self and the Women of Contribution, is to touch the lives of 1 billion women from around the world, so that they can stand in their own true power, because we are all destined for bigger things. And the biggest message that this book sends is your story matters. Because a lot of us have our own qualities and attributes. We have our own past and our own stories which defined us and also helped us become who we are today. And we dismiss it. We take it for granted, or we dismiss it, and we just assume that other people wouldn't be interested. And yet, by sharing the story with the world and by showing other people how you've overcome challenges, it can change many, many lives. And it can show people that by being courageous and brave, you can step forward and become leaders of change. And it's also about almost wrapping people up in a fluffy safety blanket, and just letting them know that it's okay to be you. The way you are, you're perfect. Just be you. And actually, the message at the end of my chapter was, you were good enough then, and you are more than good enough now.
Love it.
And I absolutely love that. And I've heard, some of those stories are just beautiful. And the idea of the book, and here's my little post note. The idea of the book is that you read it, love it, and pay it forward. So you put a post-it note on it, and mine says, yes, this is for you, smiley face, read it, love it, pay it forward, have a beautiful day. And then inside the book, I just found a little picture of my son in here. Just found my baby son in here.
I love it.
Yeah, baby 13 years ago. And in the book, there are 10 boxes to leave a message. So you leave the book either on the train or on the bus, in a cafe, and you put a message in here for the person who's going to pick it up. And it could be something like, let your light shine bright, trust your soul will guide you. I usually put, keep smiling, you're beautiful, because I absolutely love that. And you leave it. So with one book, we can touch, 10 lives. And my daughter and I did a sprint just recently. And we left the book. We did it for 7 days, and we left the book in and around Norfolk for other people to find. And we've even caught snapshots of people looking at the book when we've been out and about after we placed the book. And she really loved it. And it's a brilliant way of teaching children about paying forward and creating that ripple effect of inspiration. Now, my plan is to also pay forward to 5 men. At the Yes Group, because this book does not have to inspire just women. Those stories can also inspire men, and there are lots and lots of men out there who are also worried about sharing their story, who are also almost belittling their experiences. And sometimes I feel there's more support for women than there is for men, but this book is for everyone. So whether the gentleman will choose to read it and then pass it forward onto their friend, their wife, their daughter, it will create that ripple effect of inspiration. And volume 3, so Kezia Luckett, the founder of the Women of Contribution and the Pay It Forward series, is interviewing for volume 3 right now, and she's still got some spaces left. So if any ladies out there want to share their story and their experiences with the world, now is your chance to shine.
Absolutely.
Now is your chance to put your story out there and help change many lives. The book, a percentage of the book is going to the Global Girl Project, which is, again, it's beautiful. It's taking funding girls to come over to England and receive the education that they need so that they can go back into their communities and become leaders of change and inspire all the other girls. because, as you know, I mean, in so many countries, you know, they start with arranged marriages at a very young age. They don't have the opportunity to study and to invest in their personal development. They don't have the resources, so they're given that opportunity, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
And I absolutely love what it is you're doing. And for everyone who's listening, in the show notes there will be links to the book, so you can get your very own copy, and there'll also be links to the group as well, because I know there is a group or two groups that are very closely associated with the Pay It Forward series.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell a bit about the book group?
Yeah, so there's the Pay It Forward series, Notes to My Younger Self group. And also there is, so the Pay It Forward series, Notes to My Younger Self, is for men and women, because who knows, that one for men might come up.
Yeah.
And also there's the Women of Contribution group, which is a platform, a Facebook group at the moment for ladies to share what they're doing, to grow, to really get to know themselves. And I'm also part of the Ready to Rise community, which is also founded by Kezia Luckett. And that is a platform for women to learn the different energy spaces. And in actual fact, men go through some of this too, but for women in particular, we go through the nurture space. We go through the whisper phase where we need to listen to ourselves. We go through the creative phase. We go through the phase where we want to shine into the world. You know, when you're confident, you're walking around shoulders high and you go, I'm confident. And it's just, you know, giving women the opportunity to really get to know themselves so they can step out into the world and leave their footprint on the world and create the legacy. So I am so truly passionate about this. And you know what? I never ever thought that I would meet the Book Sisters and a bunch of women from all over the world who share my values. Because when I was younger, all I've ever wanted was to meet people who saw the beauty in other people as much as I did.
Yeah.
And when I was brought up in Romania, so it was Romania was very much about social status, and religion ruled after the communism. So people were suppressed and not always free to be themselves. And, you know, people were kind of judged by the place they had in the society. So I've always wanted to be surrounded by people who are non-critical and just allow other people to be and love their individuality.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you know, what's really interesting is that as you were just sort of going through it there, some of your lessons from the SMILE model actually come out and reciprocate, you know, the learning and that going within yourself and understanding with the group and the energy spaces. Like, this is why it's really important. And you know, just from a male perspective, I know the female perspective is very, very important. And for anybody who, you know, thinks to themselves, oh, you know, there isn't a lot of support out there for the guys, I believe that there is more than what we know, you know. And especially for myself, you know, I try to be very universal in my own teachings, simply because we've all got the masculine and feminine inside of us. And, you know, for some of the guys who are listening right now, like, you could literally go into these energy spaces and understand it yourself as well, because it's all about understanding that we are feminine and we're also masculine. You know, be sensitive. You know, a lot of guys have only been taught to have this super alpha aggressive mentality, and I've even had guys call me out on it, say, no thank you, I don't want any of this lovey-dovey stuff, it's all about being a man. Well, what is being a man? Right? Yeah. What's the concept? What is being a woman? You know, it's all about your own individual experiences, and I think that it's amazing what you do, because you help people to identify that individuality. You know, you help them to find, well, I love this, and I love that, and I love that. And, you know, a woman might love, you know, I don't know, playing in violent movie roles, right? A woman might love going out and drinking beer and going and playing boxing, going into boxing fights and things like that. There's no discrimination on it. It's just literally what someone's personal preference is. And I think that that's what is the amazing thing about what you guys are doing, is you're helping people to see that individuality, which is just totally beautiful. And it's such an amazing thing to be a part of. And you also mentioned about the Yes Group. Now, obviously, because you're going to be paying it forward to people and men as well. Like, tell us a bit more about that.
The Yes Group is a community I am truly passionate about. And that's really how my journey to personal development sort of started coming out into the world. It's a worldwide organization. And it's been around in England for 25 years. We had our 25-year celebration last year. Now, it is a non-profitable organization, and the founder, Carl Pearsall, he went to one of Tony Robbins' events in the States, and he was so inspired by what he did. He really wanted to bring it to England, and so he did. And I run Yes Group Norwich, and each month, so the last Thursday of each month, we bring a different speaker, and it's all around personal development. We bring experts from all over the world, so that the community, our local community, has got the opportunity to invest in their personal development for a very low price. It's only £10 to get in each month, and start creating the life they want to have. And for some people, it's so important that one Thursday a month is, for some people, it's their only evening out. And it gives them an opportunity to connect with people who are very much into the same ethos of growth, contribution, and connection. And I mean, it's helped me hugely. As you can imagine, the opportunity to have different experts each month, the learning has been incredible. And our aim is to help the Basket Brigade, which is at Christmas. They fundraise, and we do baskets for anything from 1 to 8, 9 people in the family. Christmas baskets, Christmas hampers. And then they're delivered to people's homes at Christmas.
Beautiful.
People can nominate. So, if you know of a family who's really in need and they're struggling financially and they need that extra support, and then they have one of us turning up at Christmas with a lovely basket, and the children, it's a great family event. The children do cards and they put little toys in there. So again, it's a really good cause, and I think for people who are whose passion are contributing to other people's lives, is very rewarding, knowing that you've got a big family sitting there, and they don't have to stress about how they're going to get the turkey. They don't have to stress about how they're going to feed the children. It makes my heart sing, and that's what Women of Contribution is all about. Do what makes your heart sing. If it doesn't make your heart sing, don't do it.
No, I love that. And just to tie this in with the happiness of this episode as well, guys, is like, this is what it's all about. We said in the beginning, a lot of people are trying to strive to be happy. They're trying to reach a place and destination, and they can't figure out why they're not happy when they realise that it's here. In fact, you have happiness right now. Even if you're depressed, even if you feel miserable, you actually have it right now. You just have to turn it on. It's like a light switch. Just flick it on, find the right tools, understand yourself, help people. Right, so once you've got yourself into a pretty cemented place, you know that you're on the right path, start helping people, and it will come back tenfold. Just think about it, right? If you put a smile on someone else's face, they go and help someone else. You remember the ripple effect of inspiration, right? Exactly, that's Flavia's thing, the ripple effect of inspiration. This is what it's about. It just takes one person. It takes one person to help another person, which could totally transform someone's life. Now, Flavia, there's one thing I actually wanted to bring up, because you said this to me earlier, and you mentioned about, obviously, the energy space of your house. Now, I wanted to make a really good point on this, and tell people a bit about your ethos of the energy space of your
house. My home is my sanctuary. So the energy has to be right. In my home, nobody comes in who has negative energy. Nobody comes in who disrespects any member of my family, and I like a tidy home because it clears the energy space, and I have clarity and free creative flow. And in this corner here, I've literally created a botanical garden. I've got plants, I've got my quotes, I've got my little stones, and it makes me happy because it's a clean and lovely energy space. So, because you know what, I think our environment can really influence our happiness.
Absolutely.
And the people we surround ourselves with. And this is a really important part of the happiness engineering and the SMILE model. The people we surround ourselves with and our environment. And I think when the outside world is challenging, and life can be unfair, and we have difficulties and stresses, the moment I shut the door and walk into my home,
it's gone.
It's gone. This is my place. This is my safe environment. It is. It's my sanctuary. And if the house is untidy, I can't work. or if the house has got, you know, the wrong energy, I have to air it, open windows, air, clean the energy. And it's really, really important, vital part of that model.
Yeah.
Is and also maintaining balance. And here's the thing, if my energy space is not clear, my balance, I start to wobble and I come off balance. And I think, you know, as you know, balance is not static. It constantly changes, it constantly moves. So it's about implementing and being fluid and being flexible in our approach to maintain that balance throughout life. So I know myself very well, because that's where I've started, and for years and years I've invested time in getting to know myself. And I know that certain things will push me off balance. And I know that, for example, if I don't get enough sleep, you might as well stand the other side of the room and just throw the odd bit of chocolate at me, because it's safer from over there. I become as grumpy as hell. But you know what, when we were talking earlier on about the ripple effect of inspiration, you mentioned it a little while ago, and I was just going to go back to a vital part. I mean, there are loads of vital parts, they're all vital parts, but a really important part of my model is when we step out into the world, and I see this a lot, where people are very quick at pointing out other people's flaws.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't bring happiness to anyone. No. It doesn't add any value to our lives. Now, you know, what makes you smile? Is it noticing somebody's beauty, or is it noticing somebody's flaws? And I strongly believe that there's beauty in everyone. You know, even if it's just the color of their eyes, I would much rather point that out than notice all the rest. Because why waste my time when actually there's beauty in every single person, and that makes me smile, the other doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, it hasn't always helped me, because at times I've ignored my gut instinct and overlooked the hold on a minute, something's not quite right here, and chose to focus on the good still, and woke up later on. Now I've learned how to really recognize and listen to my gut instinct a lot faster. But ultimately, it adds more value to my life.
Yeah. And one thing that you mentioned a story as well about when you may have needed something and you got what you wanted. Would you be able to tell guys that story?
Yes, that's a brilliant story. So I'd worked a night shift on the Saturday night, ran a half marathon on the Sunday morning. It was really, really cold. And then I had a couple of hours sleep and went to another night shift on the Sunday night. And on the Monday, I thought, I don't feel very well. Really didn't feel quite good. On the Tuesday, I was out and about running some errands, and I really needed the loo. Desperately really needed the loo. I thought, oh God, what can I do? So I got cold to the bone, and I got this terrible case of cystitis. Excuse me, guys, but it's what it was. And so I thought, what can I do? And I stopped at the local vet, and I walked in, and I was met by the grumpiest looking face ever. So I thought, right, I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to challenge myself to put a smile on her face. And I walked to the desk, and I said, excuse me. And I was telling her about my predicament, and I said, excuse me, would it be possible if I could use your toilet? And she started by saying, oh, I'm really sorry, we don't. And as I looked down, I noticed the most beautiful hands. So I just blurted it out. I said, oh my goodness, you have got amazing hands. You should be a hand model. And she looked up and smiled, and she went, oh, I've never been told that before. Of course you can use the loo. I thought, and not only do you know, we had a lovely conversation, we had a really good laugh, and she came and as my client, and she was going through a really difficult time in her life. So I don't believe in paying compliments that aren't there, you know, that I don't see. Because I'm not going to lie to somebody. I'd rather say nothing. If I've got nothing nice to say, I won't say anything. But generally, I always find something nice in people. But because I saw them, and I think you could change somebody's life. You can really influence somebody's day by just telling them. If you think their hair looks nice, tell them. Yeah. If you think their hands are nice, tell them. If you love the way they talk, just tell them. You know, some people have not had a compliment paid to them for a long, long time. And if somebody pays you a compliment, my dad taught me this, always say thank you. You hear those people who go, oh, you look really beautiful. No, I don't. There are only so many times you're going to pay that person a compliment before you go, she won't take it. Just say thank you and accept it. It's there for you. Somebody else sees your beauty, so take it.
Yeah. And you see, this is the thing as well, is that, and I teach a few of my clients, this is that when you don't see the beauty in yourself, listen to the external.
Yeah.
You know, because the vast majority of the time, like you said, Flavia, people are being genuine and they're being honest.
Yeah.
You know, and one really important thing about that story as well, for people who might look at the benefit, not only does it create a beautiful ripple of inspiration and happiness in these people's lives, but also Flavia got a client and she managed to go to the loo, right? Yeah. And all because she met somebody on their level. You know, this woman clearly wasn't being grumpy because it's who she was. She was going through a real tough time. You know, and this is something we've all got to realise, is that sometimes the people who we think are a-holes, right, are sometimes the people who need the love the most.
Yeah.
And I've often said that showing love and caring is, not only is it easy, you know, it is easy. Once you learn how to do it and you learn how to show and express love, it's easy. You know, and it changes your life totally. And it's just one of those real big ways that we can, like we say, create that ripple effect that changes the world. Now, Flavia, there is another reason why I asked you about the energy in your home, and it's because I read this recently, okay? So in Native American Indian society, back in a few years ago, probably still now, they have something called a burden basket. Okay, and what they do is they have this basket on their back, and as the ladies are going around and they're picking the wood for the fires inside the teepees, it reminds them that they don't want to pick any sticks that are too big because it'll be too much of a burden on their back. Now what they do is, once they finish, they hang the burden basket on the outside of the teepee or their house or their tent, and then whenever anybody comes in, it's a spiritual reminder to leave any problems they have or any negative or malicious energy at the door. So if they have a problem with the family they're going to meet, they leave it all at the door out of sacred respect for their energy and their space. So I love that teaching, and it's so interesting, the synchronicity and the connection
really
there.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I am so strong in this belief that if somebody with the wrong energy comes at the door, I will hold them at the door. I will keep them at the door, and I will talk to them at the door. I mean, generally, you know, as with the therapy and the happiness engineering, generally, you know, after I've spoken to them at the door for a couple of minutes, I can reframe it, and I can help them get into the right state anyway, for them to feel better. But it's really important. If I can't relax in my home, my whole life goes off balance.
No, I love that. And Flavia, well, for the final little bit of the interview today, where do you see yourself in 6 months?
I see my book being published.
I love it.
Smile book, A Recipe for Long-Lasting Happiness. And also I want to carry on with the Women of Contribution and the Notes to My Younger Self, because that's the Women of Contribution, and our mission is global. The Destined for Bigger Things conference is going to LA later this year. It's going to be in Australia next year. It's in Windsor, I believe. It could be Windsor or London next year. And the mission, I'm so passionate about it. So I want to get more and more involved with Women of Contribution and Women of Contribution ambassadors to spread. And it's very, very nicely aligned with my happiness engineering. I want to carry on with the Yes Group, so we want to bring more and more people in to spread that opportunity to a wider audience, so that people can invest in themselves, and they don't have to sacrifice so much to be able to attend, because you know it's for a good cause. It's a small fee, and I love that. I'm truly passionate about that. And also I'm looking at literally dissecting this SMILE model and putting it into a platform so that people can just go and, you know, say for example, I'm unhappy in my relationship, so happiness engineering for relationships, or happiness engineering in communication, or you know, smiles for children or for teenagers. So I'm going to dissect it, and you know, learning how to accept, for example, could be a massive course, and it's the most valuable lesson I have learned, is learning to accept, not just learning to accept the past, but learning to accept people's different belief systems. When somebody is unkind to us, it's not about us, it's about them. When somebody is rigid and inflexible in their beliefs, it's about them, it's not about us. And sometimes, we try and convince other people to meet us in the middle or to see it from our point of view, and they can't. And that's okay, because if they're happy with where they're at, that's their belief system. And I've managed to accept, forgive, let go a lot by just recognizing other people's belief systems.
Yeah.
So accepting to me is the biggest and most important thing in anybody's life. No matter what somebody does to you, it's not about you. So reaching out with kindness and love is a lot more valuable to them as well. And just saying, I respect where you're at. They're your beliefs, it's your opinion, and you're entitled to it.
I love that. No, that's amazing. And for anyone who's listening right now, make sure you go and follow Flavia. I'm sure you'll be welcome with open arms. I know that for a fact. And if you've got any feedback and anything, and this whole interview has been a testament to the person she is. She's an absolutely incredible woman, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. And sort of finally, like, where can people find you? Where can they get in touch with you?
So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, but I need to get better at those platforms. And I am planning on being more visible on YouTube as well. Now, some of my videos are very old. They're from when I first started. So I'm planning on putting more and more value out there on YouTube as well. And also my website, www.flaviapowell.com. .co.uk.
I love it.
.co.uk. You can see how much I visit my own.
Well, listen,
website.
guys, you'll have it in the podcast description, so don't worry.
If you don't need to remember it, don't worry about it. It's all about engineering happiness, not overloading your brain.
There you go, right?
Yeah, there you go. So you can find me on all those platforms, or just message me. Just message me on Facebook. Now, I'm more than happy. I love hearing from people. I love helping and supporting, and just love your individuality. And if there's one message that I'd like to leave you with, which is also the message at the end of my chapter in the Pay It Forward series, is you were good enough then, you are more than good enough now, and you will always be good enough. Always. Gotta be good enough for yourself first.
Definitely. What an absolutely beautiful way to end this podcast episode. Listen, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Flavia, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're an amazing woman, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Truly, I really can't. So listen, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you contact Flavia in the links. You'll have the link to the book. You'll have the group in there. All of Flavia's social links, so you'll be able to connect to her wherever you like. And don't forget, you can follow me on the platforms as well, guys. So have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next episode.